I have no hope in the Angels. They're a dumpster fire that committed several baseball war crimes. I mean, look at this list. This makes me believe that ownership is the worst in sports. They make my White Sox look like Doctor Who. I mean, at least the White Sox, despite the ownership, are genuinely trying, even if their methodology of doing so is absolutely garbage. But today, theorists, what if Mike Trout actually had the competency he deserved? What could have been done to fix Mike Trout's career? Well, buckle up, folks, because I figured out what moves we need to make to give Mike Trout the World Series he deserves. Now, here's the criteria. For this, we will start in 2012, since while Trout did technically debut in 2011, he truly broke out and won Rookie of the Year in 2012. Second, anything before 2012 is canon. Pujols is still on the team since he signed in 2011, meaning that this makes our challenge much harder. Alongside Pujols, we also have Vernon Wells and CJ, both of whom signed before the 2012 season. That means we have 3 below average albatross contracts and a pretty poor farm system, making us on ultra hardcore mode. As usual, we'll have to work under the luxury tax. We will have to work under the luxury tax while picking out the best prospects for the draft, which might require some hindsight. But before we begin, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with anyone who might be interested in this type of content. Let's get to it. For 2012, I'm not changing much. The Angels went 89 and 73. Like, yeah, they didn't make the playoffs, but they actually had a solid roster on paper. Fun fact, the Angels actually started 6 and 14, but that was before Mike Trout got called up on April 28th. Since then, they went 83 and 58 the rest of the way. In most years, that would have got you in the playoffs, but in 2012, the AL was pretty strong. Okay, now we're in the 2012-13 offseason, and for our first move, we are going to reuse the funds that went to Josh Hamilton and re-sign Zach Greinke. In our timeline, he went to the Dodgers for a 6-year, $147 million deal, but we are giving that 5-year, $125 on an AAV basis. This actually makes him earn $500,000 extra dollars on an AAV basis. Listen, they traded 3 prospects to Milwaukee for just half a season of Greinke, and in reality, the Angels almost signed him. But Artie Moreno happened. Million deal to him. For right field, instead of Hamilton, we'll go with Borjos and Cole Calhoun. And we'll also make a second move, and that is not signing Joe Blanton, who gave us some really bad WAR. Those 2 moves make us go from 78 to 84 to 85 and 77. Not bad. In the draft, the Angels never got a first round pick because they signed Josh Hamilton, but now they do. At first, we could draft Aaron Judge at right, but then I realized that Cole Calhoun was coming up the pipeline, so we take Hunter Harvey. In 2014, we won't do anything because in real life, the Angels went 98 and 64. But Greinke, man, he takes them from 98 to 102 wins. In the playoffs, Greinke starts a couple of games, meaning that instead of getting swept in the playoffs, the Angels lose in 5. Trout wins 2 playoff games. We are still under the luxury tax, by the way. I mean, we swapped one superstar for another. But anyway, the Angels, with approximately the 19th to 20th pick, need defense. An issue that is often overlooked considering the bad pitching, giant contracts, and a lack of farm system. So, with that pick, they select Matt Chapman. Here is a Google Maps screenshot I took highlighting the route between Angel Stadium and Goodwin Field, where Chapman played. That is an 8-mile drive. 8 miles in approximately 35 minutes with LA traffic. You're telling me that the scouting department couldn't, at the very least, watch the game or given him a tryout? Anyway, let's go on to 2015. The Angels were ever so close to making the playoffs, just 1 game away, and it was down to the wire. But as I, Elite Bro 426.9 as GM, we are not trading for Andrew Heaney. Instead, Matt Shoemaker is called up in late 2014 and is now rookie eligible in 2015. With Greinke added to the rotation, we get 7 extra wins. We are also keeping Howie Kendrick. He is staying at second base until the end of the season, since his contract ran from 2012 to 2015. Also, instead of trading for Shane Victorino, we get Ben Revere as a rental for a pitching prospect. With that combo, we are getting not an 85-win season, but a 96-win season, putting it at first place again. In the draft, we draft Taylor Ward like in real life, but we get Jake Cronenworth. Listen, yeah, I'm using hindsight, but Cronenworth was all the way in the 7th round, so you're really just picking a lottery pick here. So it does make sense considering that no one knew what Cronenworth would become, but I think you get the point. In the ALDS, we faced the Blue Jays and knocked them out. We once again faced the Royals, this time in the ALCS, and this time we dragged them to 7 games. With a tie game late in Game 7, Mike Trout gets up to bat with a full count. He hits a drive deep to left field, and it is out of here! The Angels are going to the World Series, and they face the New York Mets. Regardless to say, the Mets aren't going anywhere, and Mike Trout wins his first swing, with Pujols winning his third. All we had to do was re-sign 2 players and make the right rental. Go figure. Jared Weaver. He had a 4.64 ERA, the highest whip since 2000, and 2014 was a regressing year. While hindsight is 2026, we need to trade him. Plus, he's turning 34. This is an opportunity to trade for assets, and I have an idea. In 2017, Weaver signed a 1-year deal with the Padres and basically did nothing. Now, we didn't know at the time Weaver would careen off a cliff, or maybe we did. So here is the big idea. We will tell the Padres we're giving them Weaver for Hunter Renfroe. Now, I know what you're thinking. A washed Weaver for Renfroe is insane, which is why Weaver is merely just a tag who will eat innings in the Padres bullpen. The real prize is CJ Cron, a 26-year-old power bat who is not only team control but can net you 20 home runs a year. Not only that, but to sweeten the deal, we'll also eat 85 to 90% of the money, which is essentially saying that we're giving Weaver for free. We're still trading for Andrelton Simmons. I mean, he is one hell of a defensive player, but we don't have Sean Newcomb to trade him to. But we have Joe Gatto, and our number 4, now number 3 prospect without Andrew Heaney in the pipeline. In the draft, instead of Matt Dice, we're lower in the draft, and therefore in position to get Will Smith. As for the record, our 2016 record is 83-79. It's okay though. Hangovers happen. Granted, this is Greinke's last year. We don't have to pay Weaver no more, and we are certainly not going after Justin Upton. We also don't need Luis Valbuena since Chapman's coming up. We signed Charlie Morton using Luis Valbuena's money and used Jesse Chavez's money on a reliever. And that's really it, because we are trading Zach Greinke to Cleveland. I know what you're thinking. I mean, the Angels are in win now mode, so it would make no sense to trade Zach Greinke. Except by doing this, we are falling into the same trap the Angels did with Shohei Ohtani, letting him walk instead of trading him for valuable assets, albeit the Angels were not in the World Series hunt. But here's the idea, we're trading him to Cleveland. They'll start off their 2016 World Series loss because of a rain delay. Their Avengers level rotation ran out of gas. Tell me, if Greinke starts Game 5 or even Game 7 or any of the games the Cubs won, do the Cubs even see the trophy? No, we'll tell Cleveland this. We'll give you Greinke, the missing piece to end a 69-year drought for free. Like, we'll eat all the remaining money. Also, here's reliever Kenyon Middleton. He's only 23, and at the time, he hit up to 100 miles per hour. Imagine that. Oh, you think we'd give them for free? We need Cody Allen to stabilize our pen, your number 1 prospect Francisco Mejia, and that kid in high A, Shane Bieber. Yes, you see what I'm doing here. I know it required hindsight. However, while evaluating and thinking deep, it made sense. With the 20th pick, we take David Peterson and later Chas McCormick. And LA in 2017 goes 91-71. They take the 5th spot, beat the Yankees in the wild card, and beat Cleveland. Playoff Greinke in 2017 was bad. Like, really bad. While that can be attributed to Dodger Stadium, it still doesn't excuse that he threw over an ERA of 7. Meanwhile, Cody Allen, despite pitching 5 innings had a 1.69 nice ERA. So yes, this did require some hindsight, but the Angels go to their second ALCS and face Houston, but fall short 4-3. Okay, you know what's coming. Ohtani's coming. And looking at the payroll, we can totally fit him in. No more Zach Greinke. Instead, you're paying Charlie Morton and Cody Allen a total of around 13 to 14.5 million. Ohtani's posting fee again is more than enough. But first up, no Zach Cozart. We're still getting Ian Kinsler since we're letting Kendrick walk, and to do that, we need a trade. We're just trading Francisco Maia. That's it. Well, the Tigers, look, we tell the Tigers, look, you're in the middle of your rebuild, you have the number 1 overall pick, and if you do select the consensus number 1, Casey Mize, you'll have someone catching for him. We used the remaining money to sign a 1-year, $5 million contract. We used the money we had for Greinke to sign Jake Arrieta. We're also $20 million under the luxury tax. So where do we spend it? Steve Chisak. I mean, he's only worth $6.5 million a year. In the draft, we draft Nico Horner to eventually replace him. And in later rounds, we draft Kyle Bradish and Brendan Donovan. Again, this requires a ton of hindsight. The Angels go 95-67 and have to take the 5th spot considering how many times these two played each other. In this timeline, we beat the Yankees, making the ALDS but fall short to Boston. So, in reality, the Angels signed Mike Trout to a contract worth over $400 million, and I'm still going to be doing that. But now, I'm going to get rid of Cody Allen, and instead of signing Matt Harvey, we're going to use that money to sign Mike Fiers. And instead of Trevor Cahill, we're signing Wade Miley for the bullpen. In total, that's just around $15 million a year. Also, since we don't rely just on Ohtani for pitching, he doesn't have Tommy John. And we also let Shane Bieber in the starting lineup if he hasn't come up already. For the draft, Michael Busch can be our second baseman of the future. In the regular season, the Angels go 99-63 and are at the 4th spot. They hold Houston to under 104 wins and make it to the wildcard game. And in real life, they raced 6-1. They were a young, inexperienced team, but these Angels, they have made the playoffs in all but one season since 2014. They're experienced and slightly edge out the Astros, taking down the Yankees in 7. Trout proceeds to make his second World Series, and for the sake of the video, Trout wins 2. Of course, a lot of these moves required hindsight, but they still fit the needs of the Angels. So to summarize, all that was needed for Mike Trout to win a ring was re-sign 2 players and trade for someone else other than Shane Victorino in the 2015 trade deadline. They also allocated funds elsewhere, focused on value instead of big names, made trade that at the time seemed fair, albeit with much hindsight. As for drafting, I drafted a superstar third baseman, catcher, and shortstop, with Cronenworth going to be traded, another decent outfielder, an all-star shortstop, an ascending second baseman, albeit again with much hindsight. But I still consider the needs for the roster. Well, you might say, well, it's nearly impossible to hit on all these moves. And yeah, you're right, but even hitting half of these moves without Matt Chapman or Charlie Morton, you still get multiple playoff appearances. And yeah, that'll be it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with anyone who might like this type of content.